Hello and welcome to the How-To series. Today, how to complete the social analysis project. My name is Roger No. This video will explain the two-step social analysis project. Now, it's a group project, and so a lot of my focus here is to make sure that you clearly can see where to access your teammates, your group members, and communicate with them. And so beyond explaining the two steps, it's to make sure that you can see how to identify and communicate with them effectively. So it's week 2. You've had a chance to go through the orientation and the week 1 materials, and you've probably done quite a bit of the week 2 lesson already. So in a moment, I'm going to show you how to identify your group members. Now, unfortunately, because it's an online course, we don't have the opportunity to self-select our team members. But that's sort of the way it goes in the real world as well. When you get a job, you don't get a chance to select your group mates. You get absorbed into whoever's there. And part of this whole exercise is giving students the opportunity to work with different people with different ideas and needs and abilities and strengths and weaknesses, just like we will in a workplace, on a team project wherein, in spite of our differences, we pull together towards a common goal, and that is our mutual success. And so we expect all team members to be adults who are concerned with their own success. And certainly one of the things that this project teaches us as well, demonstrates for us, that's the word, is that our well-being is interconnected with the well-being of each other, and that is one of the big themes of this course on global citizenship. So, having said that, let's see where we're going to find our group members. So we're going to come to our main, to our shell. Yours might look like this, same relative format. But coming to communication groups. Now there the computer system has already put you into a group, typically groups of 5, but it may vary. So what you're going to do, because I'm a professor, I see all of the groups. When you log on, you're going to have transparency of or access to only one group. So whatever it is, that's the one you're in. To identify your team members, come here and click on these numbers under members, and this will actually tell you the 5 members of your team in this case. Now, the first thing you want to do is, it seems like a nice idea to learn their names, but then come here to the discussion board and introduce yourself. I'd suggest your name, your program, maybe, is it your 3rd semester, 1st semester of study at Centennial College, and as well maybe make a note if you're not here in the GTA, if perhaps you're overseas, make a note of that. That might have be of interest or importance to your team members. And then you can subscribe to your group box here, and you'll get the updates in your email from the discussion board. So that's very, very important to do. Now, if, for example, there are 4 people who've introduced themselves on the discussion board, but we know there are 5, now all of a sudden, because we know there are 5 members, now the value of the discussion board has already proven itself. We know that we're missing 1 person, and that's how then we can at some point get to emailing them. Now the key here with all the group work is always communication, communication, communication. Keep everybody copied on all communication. If you have a question for your professor, don't just have one person fire off a one-to-one email to the professor. Keep all the team members copied on that email to the professor, so when your professor replies, they reply all, and all people get all the information all at the same time. No one gets left behind. People getting left behind is where 85% of the disasters happen. Keep your discussion on the board. When you need email, copy everybody on all emails. If you're copying your professor, keep all your teammates. And the way you do that is, if I'm in group 1, I'm going to select here and click on email. If you're using a telephone, a small mobile device, the email option I think is somewhere over here. But regardless, and now what you have is all of the members of the group emails populated for you. Now, it's not very professional or handy that they are BCC, because not everybody can see who, in a BCC, you can't tell who's been copied on it. So what you do want to do is to repopulate those in the to line, delete the corresponding ones. If it's to me, put my email address in, and then please use the subject line to add a descriptive, informative subject line. All of us get a lot of emails. We don't know who each other are. So, hey guys is not in the subject line, is not going to garner much of a priority, I don't think, from any of us. So make it clear. We're in several courses. So Gen Ed 500, and for me, I've got a whole variety of sections. So I'll want to see your section number, and then group 1, possible social issue, whatever it is, so that then it's quite clear who and what it is in the subject line. A lot of this stuff is about professional communication. You'll see the links in quite a few places about following proper netiquette. I think that's very, very important because we are in a post-secondary institution where we are supposed to be practicing our professional communication skills. And so, which is exactly what you need in the workplace. Work from home, whatever, you need to be able to communicate professionally online, more important than ever before. So, I'll leave that. That's who you're trying to contact and how to do so. Now about the project. What you're going to need to do after you introduce yourselves is you're going to need to come to a consensus on which social problem it is that you want to analyze. Basically, you're going to propose a piece of research, get my feedback, and then you're going to write a report on it. So first, you got to know what your topic is. In our context, it's a social problem. Now, as a starting point, you can use this to help brainstorm among your team members. You'll see there's a direct link to it on Centennial right below this video. And there's a range. These are just ideas. You'll need to more tightly contextualize any of these. For example, human trafficking in Ontario or in Canada, refugees. Well, okay. Which group of refugees and what form of backlash are they receiving in Canada? All of these will need to be contextualized within the context of Canada. If, for example, you're only picking one of these for the whole group, you're all going to do on the same one, so you need to come to a consensus about that. I highly recommend that once you think you have an idea, that you then email me your idea by week 3 so that I can give you feedback. For example, my topic would be homelessness in the Greater Toronto Area. So you would send that type of an email with the subject line, as we had a moment ago, and then you would have a 1-sentence email. Is this appropriate homelessness in the Greater Toronto Area? Yes or no. Requires more focus, whatever. I'll let you know. Then you're going to go and do a proposal. Now that document, there's in fact below this. You don't need to do it right now. I would suggest you stick to defining a social problem for the group to focus on, and then get that to me. And then the next step would be maybe during week 3 to go through the next video on exactly what's required for the proposal. But that proposal that's the real document, the first document that's going to be graded 10% of your mark, and it's going to be due at the end of week 5. I will then provide videoed feedback so that all team members are getting complete and very explicit feedback on all aspects of the proposal. I have a lot of groups, more than 35. I may not be able to get that feedback to you in the first week. It might be a bit longer, but I know that feedback is very, very important, and I will be prioritizing getting that back to you. Your next step then will be to do some additional research, as well, utilizing the triangle model of social analysis found on our textbook on page 76 to provide that social analysis, which will go into a report which will be worth 20% of your mark and is due week 10 towards the end of the semester. By the time we get past the proposal, you will also have access to another how-to video, how to complete a successful social analysis report. And so those details will be there. As well, for any of these, the written guidelines and rubric are also accessible on eCentennial. And in fact, I think that's really all I want to say here. So I think I'll just finish up by going back to there and to show you that we are week 2. And here we are. And so down here, the discussion board, reminder on netiquette and professional communication, list of possible social issues, and then if you have a chance, you can get to the details on the proposal itself and the written guidelines. But right now, it's find out who your teammates are, introduce yourself, decide on a topic, send it to me for feedback. I think that's all. Thank you very much. I look forward to working with you. Take care. We'll